Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Meet the Actor or Actress, depending on how she wants to be preferred. It is Dawna Lee Heising, who has starred in such things as Robo Woman and Meat Hook Massacre 2, Garden Party Massacre. But if you look at her IMDb, she has 150 plus credits just on your acting alone. So you've been very, very busy.
Yeah, I've been very, very fortunate in this business because I've worked with such great people, and I have gotten to learn a lot on the set. I have, well, I don't know if I should start out saying this, but I have a bachelor's and a master's from Pepperdine University, and I was in technology marketing for more than 10 years. And then I came back to acting about 10 years ago, and it was completely different from when I first started, because now with the digital cameras, anyone can make a film. And so I was learning as I went, and luckily I got to learn on set. And I met this great filmmaker, this great young filmmaker named Jared Masters. And he started putting me in a lot of his films. I started out with Slink, and then I won Best Actress for a film called Teacher's Day that he did. So I'm very grateful to Jared for starting me out.
Well, you kind of answered both the first questions there with the how did you first get into acting and what was your first role? So
but that actually wasn't my first role. I mean, my first one, I think, was being on the set of Blade Runner years and years ago. And this was, I think, before I even left for college. I went up to UC Berkeley. And so I was on the set of Blade Runner for at least 3 weeks. It was so exciting, the first Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And we worked like every night, and it was smoke filled, and they built this Chinatown. So I played a cage dancer in it, and I'm barely in the film, but it was a wonderful experience, and I met so many people. And I was on the set when Daryl Hannah's double did the backflips.
All right, yeah.
So I mean, it was really exciting. But I started in the business years ago. I was Miss San Francisco Universe, and then I got discovered, and I was Miss Hawaii on Fantasy Island, and then I started doing small roles in big projects because in those days there were only the 3 networks, and then huge movies. So if you look at my IMDb, you've heard of everything from half my career. And then it came back, and you probably haven't heard of very many things until recently.
Well, I obviously had a look anyway, and you've got Magnum. They're probably small parts, but they're still quite big names to be in it. You've been Magnum PI. You've had a part in Big Trouble in Little China as well. That was something else I've seen on there.
Well, Magnum PI, I played Cleo the Snake Dancer in that.
Yeah.
And I actually got to dance with a snake. I mean, it was so exciting. The trainer was right off camera. But in the end, and this was for the last Magnum, so it was really exciting, and I'm a huge fan of Tom Selleck. But in the end, they decided to use a huge poster of me with the snake, and they put it on the side of a building behind him. So nobody even got to see my dance.
So was you terrified dancing with a snake? Because I know some people obviously get scared of snakes, or were you just kind of, I'm an actor, I'm just going to go with it?
I was so excited to be doing Magnum PI. I don't think I thought about it twice. I mean, I just wanted to do it, and the trainer was right there. So I wasn't scared, maybe the snake was a little bit, they're not really slimy, but they're more dry to the touch. But well, it was a weird experience, but it was fun. And
So,
I thought it was going to be my big break, so I was extra excited, you know.
well, you must be doing something right to have 150 plus credits on your IMDb. So, and as you just said just a minute ago, you've potentially been in stuff that people haven't heard of. It depends on what marketplace you're looking at. If you're looking at people that just focus on big Hollywood stuff, then maybe. But if they look at the independent market, which you've done quite a few in, then
Uh-huh.
they would definitely recognize you because you've been in a fair few of Dustin Ferguson's films and probably will
Yes,
continue
yes,
to.
I love
So,
working with Dustin.
so
And um, I've done quite a few with Dustin. I think I started with the Amityville. Um,
Evil Never
no, I
Dies.
started with Meat Hook Massacre too.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so fun. Deborah Dutch was my roommate. So it was so much fun during the shoot. And we shot in this cave, this famous cave in Nebraska. We shot it when Dustin was still in Lincoln, Nebraska. So it was a really fun shoot. And then I went back and I did um, an Amityville film with him.
Yep.
But my best scene and one of my favorite scenes still was in Nemesis 5. I'm so grateful to Dustin and to Mike Reed for writing that scene because um, it's an amazing scene and it really stretched my acting at the time. And my main goal always is to be a better actor.
Mm.
And so I'm really happy with how the scene turned out. I've won some Best Actress awards for it,
Mm.
and it, like I said, it's still my favorite scene. You can see it on my IMDb page. It was
Yep.
my first fight scene, and Sean Vituk was the stunt coordinator on it, and it was executive produced by Albert Payun, and it was the first time I worked with one of my best friends now, Sue Price,
Yeah.
who was the star in Albert's Nemesis 2, 3, and 4. So,
Yeah.
and she's a major talent, and she is so nice. And luckily, she lives close to me. So, she is now one of my best friends. And then we shot Robo Woman, which will be released soon. And Robo Woman had a ton of stars in it, really. Gregory Blair, Jonathan Nation, um, tons of people were in it. Sue Price,
Hmm.
um, Brink Stevens,
Yep.
and Mel Novak, Vita Ghaffari, and it was, working with Dustin is always fun. Um, this one, we had so many scenes to shoot that it was. Oh, and Joe Castro did the special effects too,
Yeah.
and he's a genius. But we had it was like nonstop shooting, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. Um, I got to shoot in a dojo. It's the first time I got to use my karate skills on camera,
Hmm.
and I think it will be released soon. And I love the new cover for the DVD.
Yeah. It's Wild Eye Releasing are going to be putting out, aren't they? I believe that's
Yes.
the company. Yes. I've already seen the film. I was lucky enough to be able to see the film already, and yes,
Oh,
it's really fun, and I really like the sort of 1980s montage fight scenes that you have in it, where you're training and all that. It's quite a fun film, and
yeah. It's
I, I do believe
just
potentially there's other ones in the pipeline for that. Maybe.
um Yes, oh, I think so. I mean, we're supposed to do a Robo Woman too. It's really up to Dustin. I would love to because I love the character. The first one, Dustin describes it as a grindhouse film, and it
Mm.
was fun and it was a lot of fun to do. Um, the second one, I'm so much better at karate now. I hope it'll be even more action packed.
Uh,
So we'll see what
uh,
Justin wants to do. And then I also
mm,
did Gregory Blair's Garden Party Massacre,
yeah.
which was a fantastic experience. Gregory is a great actor, and he's a great screenwriter, and he's a great friend, and he's so talented. I feel very fortunate to have been cast in that film because it opened a lot of doors for me. It showed people that I can do comedy because it's a horror comedy, but it's my role is mainly comedy. I think I play crazy Melanie. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, you see, my character's crazy, but it was a lot of fun to shoot, and it's won tons and tons of awards. So,
well, it must be nice to be able to, stretch your wings as an actress, as opposed to just getting pigeonholed in one specific role. Say you're a horror actress, that's all you are, but being able to go off and do comedy and action and all sorts of things.
Well, I like horror, but I do know I've studied karate for like 5 years now. I know pole dancing. I don't know if you can see it, but my pole is here in the office.
Just in the bottom corner, everybody be able to see it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there's my pole. And I love comedy. I think probably most of my films have involved comedy. And I think maybe that might be. I don't know. I like all forms of acting. But the last 2 years have really been extraordinary for me. And that's something I would love to talk about.
Yeah.
I went back to Pennsylvania and I worked with John Rain and Polestar Studios in a film called Finding Purpose. And the film is just amazing. And I went in halfway through the shoot, and I played John's ex-girlfriend, but we had so much chemistry together on set that he expanded my role, and he listed me as one of the stars in it, and it's an amazing film, and it had a lower budget than the sequel. And then I went back to Pennsylvania last October, and I spent a month there shooting the sequel. And I have to tell you, I am so proud of that film. Aki Young played my father. William Shotton was the cinematographer, and he was amazing. He used a drone, and John directed, as always, and John is a fantastic director and actor and singer. John could do it all. But there's a scene with John and Aki that makes me cry every time I see it. I am so blessed to have been in that film, and there are so many things that were going to happen with that film. John's agent is Roger Paul, and so it was going to have a big splash in distribution. It was going to go to theaters, and I probably can't mention the name of the film festival, but it was going to premiere at a major film festival in New York. A major, major film festival. Which was in April, and we were so excited about that. And then this coronavirus thing hit, so now it's just changed everything. The DVD is available at the Polestar website, and I know John has plans to make it available in other areas. I don't know what the distribution plan is yet when the lockdown is over, but I can't wait till people can see this film. And you're a reviewer, right? Do you review things other than horror films?
I mainly review horror films and sci-fi and things, but be happy to watch it. I have checked out your other stuff, so if you want to send it over, I'm more than happy to watch it.
I would love to send you a link to review, because I'm really, really proud of this film. And I want as many people to see it as possible. I mean, I bought copies for my mom and the rest of my family. You know, I never do that, you know, because, well, you know, because my uncle is Tak Fujimoto, and he's like a legendary cinematographer. So it's like I don't force anybody to watch anything I do. But, you know, this time I may. but also I have to say that I worked on another film last August, thanks to Robert Amico, my good friend. And I worked on a film called Bad President that was directed by Param Gill, and it stars Eddie Griffin. And we shot it in Las Vegas. And Robert, Justin Shankro, and I play Eddie Griffin's minions. Eddie Griffin plays Luther, and this is a major film that was going to premiere at Cannes, was going to go into theaters too, and I don't know, you know, Cannes got canceled, but anyway, Robert Amico played Shame, I played Misery, and Justin Shankro played Anger, and Justin Shankro has won a Golden Globe and an Emmy for the series Picket Fences.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it was just an awesome experience working with Eddie and Robert and Justin, because we did all our scenes together and we're all through the film. And Eddie gave us tickets to his show. It was just a really exciting time. So last year I did major films. This year was supposed to be my year with, you know, with my big breaks. You know, so, you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, so you kind of answered this question earlier with how long have you been doing it? So way back towards the 1980s, where we'll say.
Well, so, I've been acting from high school. And I was with Sal Romeo's theater group in college. And this was on Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles. Dustin Nguyen was in the group, and he was in 21 Jump Street with Johnny Depp. You know, I mean, I'm sure nobody remembers all this, but I was with a theater company. So I take acting very, very seriously, and I've studied my whole life different methods. Like right now, I'm studying at South Coast Rep with Matthew Arkin, and it's the Uta Hagen method. And then I was studying with I did Shakespeare too. That's another thing I didn't talk about, but my Shakespearean teacher, she's an expert at it, is Carol Foreman. And so I've done private lessons with her. I've never stopped taking lessons because I want to be great. But, you know, I also, at the beginning of the year last year, I want to be a serious actress. I want people to take me seriously. I want to continue to work with the directors I love, like Dustin and, you know, and all of the indie directors, but I really wanted to be taken seriously. And Brian Barsuglia was doing a documentary called A Bard for All Ages, Shakespeare's Timeless Effect. And he was shooting different people to be in the documentary. And by the time I learned my monologue, I learned Lady Macbeth's Act 5, Scene 1 monologue. And it took me forever, you know, because it's a long monologue and it's Shakespeare. So by the time I learned it, you know, he had quit filming people. So I got together my producer, Rena Wolsinger, who has been with me for like 10 years. And then she brought in Craig Railsback, who is an American Airlines pilot, but he's also a filmmaker. And his uncle is Steve Railsback, who played Manson.
Yeah.
So Craig is a fantastic director, and he's fantastic at lighting. So they lit the scene for me and shot it for me. And so it's part of this documentary with Brian,
Mm.
but we also released it as a 6-minute short called Dark Classics, and I've won a Best Actress award for that. So I'm really proud of doing that. And I also recently worked with Brian from lockdown on his film Social Distance. He wrote a scene for me,
Mm.
and then um, my husband had to film it, and then I think we used Zoom to have Brian direct it. So
All right.
this
Yeah.
was like, it was, no, I think I had more trouble getting into Skype with you. My husband had to, my husband has this great camera, but he had to learn how to use it overnight, because this is a major film. It's starring Vern Wells. I mean, this is a major feature film. And so he had to be the cinematographer on this shoot with me, and it's like I had to jerry rig all this lighting. Like, I don't know if you could see, but I've got my makeup gear here. So now I know about lighting, uh, you know. Um, but it was like a major production. And then I had to learn how to pole dance again because I hadn't done it for a year because I've been concentrating on karate.
Yeah.
So I did a pole dance in it, learned that again. And I also um, learned the bow stick. I've
Mm.
been learning with Rick St. Clair from San Francisco during the lockdown. He's been sending me YouTube videos, and I've been teaching myself from there. So, I mean, I've been busy during the lockdown, thank
It
goodness,
certainly sounds it. Yeah.
learning new things. But I've also been filming, so that's really great. And then I'm also supposed to work with John again in a film called Evergreen.
Mm.
Um, Evergreen, the oh man,
Let's see if I can
okay, I
find
can't
it.
remember the whole name, but it's a vampire film with John and me. And like I said, John and I have so much connection on screen in both films that I know this film is going to be great, but I'm really afraid of. I'm in Huntington Beach, California,
Mm.
and I'm really afraid of getting on a plane and flying back to Pennsylvania. I'm not worried about filming because I stay with John and Winnie. Winnie's his wife, and she's wonderful, and she's one of my best friends. So it's wonderful filming there. It's like a family atmosphere. But I'm afraid of the plane situation, especially I follow the story of Nick Cordero. I don't know if
Mm.
you've heard of him, but he's the Broadway actor. He was nominated for a Tony. He's a fantastic actor, and we go on Broadway tours every year, except it was canceled this year in New York. So anyway, those people have to be in the best shape of anyone because they have to go and perform 8 shows.
Yeah.
So this guy was in great shape. He came out here. He's from New York. He came out here to Los Angeles to film Rock of Ages. And then he got coronavirus on a plane ride back to New York, I guess to clear out his house or something.
Mm.
And now he's been in a coma for 6 weeks. He had to have his right leg amputated. I follow it every day. I mean, his wife is just amazing, but it's touch and go. It's like
Mm.
I follow it and I pray for him. And but anyway, things like that make me really, really careful because I would feel terrible if I came back and I got my family infected.
Yes. Well, touch wood, he recovers soon. But as you say, it's quite a scary situation at the moment. I mean, obviously, as an actor, you've got to go here, there, and everywhere. But if you're afraid of flying as well, then you've got coronavirus over here, planes over here.
Yeah, see, I think I would only go back and shoot with John and Winnie because I feel safe there.
Mm.
But the plane is just a different beast altogether. So we're waiting on it. I can't wait to shoot again, in person, but we'll see when it happens.
But you've pretty much answered this one as well, which was what have you worked on, currently working on? So I guess we'll move it on slightly to plan to work on. So these are films or projects that you have in the pipeline that maybe you can talk about. Obviously, if there's ones you can't talk about, then don't mention them. But
Well, I pretty did. I did cover that.
yeah,
Social distance is coming out. Um, Finding Purpose: The Road to Redemption is available at the Polestar website. I did my first faith-based film with Richard Rossi, and it stars Rebecca Holden, and that should become of Knight Rider, and that should be coming out soon. That will be a major film. Um, and my plan is to work with John John and Winnie and Polestar Films because they have huge plans coming up with major films. But I can't talk about it right now because I don't know what John wants me to
yeah, that's fine.
say. I know that I hope I could say this. I know John is in demand, and they're I think I can say this. They're on the road to starting their own studio, and they're going to have music events there. And John used to be an Elvis impersonator because he's
All
such
right.
a great singer. And he also used to handle music events. So this is right up his alley. And it's going to be a wonderful studio to film in. And so a lot of my future is tied up with Polestar Films, and I feel so fortunate, that they like me.
I just pick you up on Finding Purpose. Am I correct in thinking you was nominated for awards for that as well, or am I thinking of something else?
Well, the first Finding Purpose came out, and it's a great film, but the second Finding Purpose, um, it won. John doesn't normally enter film festivals, but I was the queen of the 2019 Hollywood Silver Screen Film Festival. And it was a huge festival held by Petra Dieter and Academy Award winner Krista Schiemer received an award. Akia Leong received an award. Justin Shankaro received an award. They're all like, Academy Award
Mm-hmm.
winners or, whatever. I mean, it was a major film festival. And um, because of that, John decided to send in a screener of the film, and it won Best Feature Film.
There you go. Pretty
So
good.
um, that shows you the quality of the film because um, it it uh, it won best feature film over a lot of films.
Yeah,
So anyway, it's a great film, and I just can't wait till everyone can see it.
it's a shame it didn't manage to go for the normal theatrical release.
Well, that's the one that was supposed to be
Mm.
in New York City in April. So
Do you think he might have plans to maybe after all this has been and gone, whenever that is? Do you think he might just do a small release of it in like a couple of theaters?
Well, it depends, like AMC is closing theaters now.
Hmm.
Um, this pandemic has just affected the film business so
Yeah.
much. I don't think anybody really knows what's going on now or what's in the future. I mean, I don't think I would know what was in my future if I didn't know I was working with John.
Yeah. Well,
So
we'll move on from that slightly somber note to what advice do you have for upcoming actors and people wanting to get into film industry? Because obviously you've done your IMDb is massive with acting, but of course you've done producing and directing and all sorts of stuff. You've been behind the camera as much as probably you've been in front of the camera. So if you want to break it down into advice for people in front of and behind of, you can.
Okay, well, first I'll talk about being behind the camera because Rena and I I've been doing the show Ion Entertainment, which is an interview show, for 16 years. We've covered the Oscars and the Emmys. We've covered Night of 100 Stars. We've covered like Comic-Con. We've covered everything. And I started that show when I was still in the business world. I was a vice president of marketing for technology companies. And I missed this business so much that I went back and I started doing interviews. And I happened to hook up with a manager who handled Bill Oberst Jr. and Domiziano Arcangeli. That's how I got into the horror world. So anyway, I've been doing it for 16 years. Rena has been with me for 10 years, and she's the brains behind the operation. I mean, she's a technology genius. She's working with Jay-Z's company on the West Coast, helping them do the sound for the studio that they're putting up. I forgot the name of the studio. I just did an interview with her. It's on our YouTube Ion Entertainment channel. But anyway, it's Jay-Z's studio. She teaches audio. She's a professor of audio. She's a doctor. And she's a Final Cut Pro professor. That's how I met her. I took it like 10 years ago, and she lives 2 streets over from me. So she's one of my best friends now too. But she figured out a way to do these interviews through Zoom. So I did my first one with her, a few days ago, which is why I can't believe I had so much trouble connecting to you this morning. But we did it through Zoom and not Skype. So anyway, she sets all of that up. But I do know how to run a camera. I do know a lot about lighting now because, because lighting can make or break you.
Yes.
And
lighting and sounding.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can look like a monster with bad lighting, and you can look like an angel with great lighting.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do know a lot about lighting now, but mainly I rely on Rena to run the technology part of it. And we did just start a show called Dawn of the Darkness too. And so I'm going to be doing those for, I really want to concentrate on acting now. So I really only do the show for the films that I act in or the projects that I act in. But luckily I act in a lot of things. So so I'll be covering, so I like to do the promotion for them. Now for in front of the camera, what I can tell people, and I believe in this strenuously. I believe in education. I think that you need to be prepared for this business. I think you need to know what you're doing as far as acting. It can't hurt to get it. I believe in education strongly. So it can't hurt to get a bachelor's degree in drama. Just so you know everything about the field that you're going into, because so many people want to be an actor, and they think they're going to come to Hollywood and instantly be a star. No, that doesn't happen. I'm grateful to have a great talent agent now, thanks to my mentor, Ikia Liang. But unless you're very young, it's really hard to get an agent because most of the roles, 80% of the roles in Hollywood are for 18-year-olds or younger. And you have so much competition and you face so much rejection that you just need to you need to have a background and you need to have skills to fall back on if this career doesn't happen. I mean, because it's very, very hard to make a living in this career. You know, luckily, I found great people to work with, so I can now. But it took years, you know, and I'm very, very lucky to have a wonderful husband, you know, who is a financial advisor, who has supported me in my career all these years, and a family who has supported me in my career, because it would be so easy to just give up when you're not getting the roles that you want. It took a long time for me to reach the level that I wanted to be at, which is, you know, the level of Finding Purpose, The Road to Redemption, and Bad President, and you know, Canaan Land, and those type of films that would go straight to theaters. It took me years and years, so just don't expect to be lucky right away and, you know, get called in. You're lucky if you get called in to read for roles on the major networks.
Yeah.
You know, so I hope I answered the question.
You did.
You know, I have an MBA in marketing, so I know how to promote all of my films, but I also continue to take acting. I never think that I know enough.
You can always learn more.
Yeah, I can always learn more. I want to do more Shakespeare. I want to do more theater.
Well, I was just having a quick look at your IMDb just then, and you have over 25 projects currently, pre-production, filming, all sort of like that. So you have a lot of stuff up and coming. So we're leading to the final question, which is, of course, promote yourself. If you have a YouTube channel, promote that, website, etc. Anything. If you want to promote anything, this is your chance.
Oh, thank you. Well, promotion is my name. You know, I have a website called www.DawnaLeeHeising.me, and I've got a lot of my pictures and my videos on my website. I have my YouTube channel called for the Ion Entertainment and Dawna of the Darkness shows. And if you go to YouTube and you put in Ion Entertainment, and that's EYEON Entertainment, you'll find my channel, and it's got 16 years worth of videos on there. So, you know, so you can see a lot of what we're doing. Lately, I've put in things like, you know, my Joe staff training, things like that, you know, because I was really proud of learning it. But it's mostly got interviews with about the films that I've done lately. And then I'm on Facebook under Dawna Lee Heising. I'm in LinkedIn under Dawna Lee Heising, and that has my business career too. I'm on Instagram, and I'm mostly, you know, social media takes so long. I'm mostly on Instagram now because I have things to do, you know. So I'm on Instagram under Dawna Lee Heising. And please go to Instagram and friend me there, because that's where I am most these days. And then lastly, I do want to tell you that Finding Purpose, The Road to Redemption is available. The DVD is available at the Polestar Productions website, and it's www.polestarprod.com.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
And it's a film I hope you will see, because I'm so proud of it.
I can tell you're very, very passionate about this project, so I hope people do certainly check it out. But
I'll send you a screener.
Lovely, thank you. Well, Dawna, thank you for your time. I will now let you enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you again for your time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this interview.